Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go the Cash App, $ Deem by any means. There go the PayPal at Deem by any means. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It's much, much, much appreciated. Hey y'all, Canelo is not the face of boxing, and I could prove it. I could prove it, and I could prove it. Now it's been rumored that he's going to fight William Skull or Chris Eubanks Jr. And if you're a boxing fan or a boxing fanatic, I shouldn't have to tell you who those two guys is. The only thing that's working in William Skull scenario is that is his mandatory. But let's talk about it. Canelo Alvarez last 3 fights we have not asked for. How can you be the face of boxing when you blatantly don't give the fans what they want or care about what the fans want? You blatantly go out your way to not fight people we ask you to fight, and then ask for astronomical numbers. If Gervonta Davis did that same thing, they would be making videos about him every day for asking for 200 million to fight Devin Haney, or to fight Shakur Stevenson, or to fight Lomachenko. You can't be the face of boxing when most boxing fans don't want to see you fight. The reason why Canelo can still sell and do what he does is because of his Mexican fan base. That's it. That's the only reason why he could still do what he does, is because of his Mexican fan base. And they support him no matter what the situation is or why. That don't mean that most boxing fans want that, because 400,000 people are guaranteed to buy your fight no matter who you fight. You cannot be the face of boxing when your last 3 fights was John Ryder, Jermell Charlo, Jaime Manguilla. You cannot, and then your next fight will be William Skull or Chris Eubanks Jr. You cannot do that and just sit up there and say that you the face of boxing. I need to know, how are you the face of boxing when not one of them fights we sit up there and we ask for from the boxing public? I've never heard nobody say they want to see Canelo Alvarez fight Chris Eubanks or William Skull. I never heard nobody even talk about Canelo Alvarez fighting Jermell Charlo when he was at 154. We didn't even know that fight was going to happen. We thought he was going to fight Jermall Charlo. That is a fact. Y'all didn't ask for Chris Eubanks Jr. You definitely didn't ask for John Ryder. So what are we talking about? Jaime Manguilla? A lot of people were saying when they first announced that fight that Jaime Manguilla is still green, and they didn't like how Jaime Manguilla was getting promoted or moved anyway. So how can you be the face of boxing at that point? Canelo Alvarez is doing everything he can to avoid David Benavidez, David Morrell, and a few others. It's not even just them two. People wouldn't even mind Berlanga more than William Skull and Chris. Berlanga would have been acceptable if you're not fighting David Benavidez, but definitely not William Skull and Chris Eubanks Jr. You can't do that and then still claim you the face of boxing when your last 4 fights nobody asked for. When your last 4 fights, when they got announced, people were critical of it. But you the face of boxing. Why? Because 400,000 Mexicans going to buy the pay-per-views? Why is that? Just because you got a cult following, that don't make you the face of nothing. That don't mean that you're the first person people think about when you think about boxing. No, guess what, Canelo? Canelo Alvarez is the first thing we think about when we think about everything that's wrong with boxing. That's why. That's why. When you think about everything that's wrong with boxing, from the fans, from the ducking and picking and choosing, from PED use to problems we got with the WBC. We just saw it with O'Shaquie Foster. We just saw it with O'Shaquie Foster. For all the stuff that we see, Canelo Alvarez is probably the poster boy of any controversial thing that's going on in boxing. He probably was the beneficiary of it. How can you be the face of boxing? I need to know that. When you don't fight the people we ask you to fight, when you sell, but it's because you got a cult following. You're not selling because that's what people actually want to see. Because you know I could prove that. Let them fight David Benavidez. It'll do 1.2. I could prove that that's not why. But he's purposely trying to take less money to not fight David Benavidez when we all know it. Then the excuses he making. Ain't nobody asking for that. I need 200 million. Well, if ain't nobody asking for that and David Benavidez is not who you say it is, then why are you asking for more money for him than anybody else if he not who he say he is or who you think he is? See, people want to have it both ways. Canelo can tell y'all that the sky is green and nobody would care. He is literally the only person in boxing that could do whatever he wants, and there is no repercussions, including using PEDs. So I need to know, how is Canelo Alvarez the face of boxing when his last 4 fights, and I really want to go 5 fights, his last 5 fights ain't been against nobody we asked him to fight? Name me one person in his last 5 fights y'all rather see him fight than David Morrell. David Morrell's a title holder. William Skull can be a title holder. I mean, a title contender, but David Morrell's the actual title holder. So is David Benavidez. Guess who else we wanted to see him fight that he didn't fight again, y'all? Dimitri Bivol. He literally got 3 other fights that he could easily take. All of those guys want to fight him. Would easily can make it happen. David Benavidez and David Morrell, well, they're just so happy to be signed to his same promotional company. And he's already fought Dimitri Bivol. So we know that that's a possibility of that happening. We wanted to see him fight Arthur Beterbiev too. But then y'all started giving him excuses that y'all don't give every other fighter. Oh, he too big. How is he too big when he already went up at 175 and fought 2 people there? Last time I checked, Arthur Beterbiev fight at 175 too. He can't weigh in no more than anybody else can. But y'all gonna make excuses for the guy. I get it. It's okay. But then gonna sit up there and say he's the face of boxing. He's the face of everything that's wrong with boxing. Canelo Alvarez. Absolutely. Oh yeah, y'all. And he ain't got no knockout in I don't know how long. Yeah. He didn't knock out Jamil. I do believe he didn't knock out John Ryder. He didn't knock out Berlanga. Yeah, I'm just saying. So what we talking about? How can you be the face of boxing and your fights is not even that entertaining? You're not even giving us the fights we want. You're not giving us knockouts. What are you doing then? But you still the face of boxing? Why? Because you have a cult following? Canelo Alvarez can fight me on pay-per-view, and it will do 400,000 pay-per-views at minimum. That's guaranteed. So to miss me with people buy his fight, I know they buy his fight because he's a cult following. That don't make you the face of nothing. Jake Paul got a cult following too. Is he the face of boxing? That don't mean nothing. KSI got a cult following as well. Do that mean he's the face of boxing? Conor McGregor got a cult following. If Conor McGregor set up another boxing match, people would buy it. Do that mean he could be the face of boxing? Because he sold plenty of pay-per-views with him and Floyd Mayweather, more than fighters would ever fight, would ever sell. Guess he's the face of boxing, huh? Stop it. Gervonta Tank Davis is the face of boxing. Because at least he's actually giving us things we want. Fighting people that we asked him to fight. Because, him and Lomachenko's in negotiations right at this very moment. Actually putting on performances. Actually getting talked about every day. When the last time you heard people talking about Canelo Alvarez? We only talk about Canelo Alvarez when there's a story about somebody he's not trying to fight. That's the only time we talk about Canelo, when it's about somebody that he's denying a fight to. Terrence Crawford, why he won't fight them. People will talk about it. Yeah, he rejected Terrence Crawford, and this is why. David Benavidez, yeah, he rejected David Benavidez. Canelo said he needs 200 million. That's when we talk about Canelo. We're not talking about his fights because we're so impressed by him. I never thought I would hear Canelo Alvarez versus Chris Eubanks Jr. I didn't know that was a possibility. My fault. He the face. I'm supposed to buy that, though. I'm supposed to lie and act like I'm intrigued by that. I can't do it. You can do it, but I won't do that. Y'all can keep it. You can save that for yourself. I'm good off that. It's amazing to me, man, how we move the goalposts so fast. Like I said, Canelo is the face of everything that's wrong. with boxing. Y'all know what this is. Dean by any means. And I holla at y'all.